starting with the coordinator hire, Bo Pelini. This is a guy that's coming in to take over after Dave Aranda took the Baylor job, and I love this. This is a defense that I played in college, so I know it. This is one of those things. Let's start with the back end. This is Youngstown State, and when you look at them play here, one, it starts with this, 2 high safeties. Now, those 2 high safeties, they can play cover 2, they can play cover 3, they can play cover 1, they can play cover 4, but they always look like cover 2. And what that means is these guys getting out here to go make plays. I think that's going to be really interesting. You see it at Youngstown State. You're going to see it again at Nebraska. Nebraska, again, 2 high safeties, but you're also going to recognize they're going to that 4-man front. And I think that's critical for LSU because it's a change from what they've been doing under Dave Aranda with the 3-man front. But I love this. When we get to what he wants out of his defense, you get these guys in action. This is the trigger man for this entire defense from a run-stopping standpoint. He has to occupy these 2 that allow the linebackers to flow over the top, and you're going to see it here. Textbook football from Bo Pelini's defense at Nebraska. This is a group of guys that are going to go make plays. LSU's got the players, and Bo Pelini's going to maximize that talent.
I think he's going to put it in the best position to attack. I can expect us to get more sacks, more tackles for loss because of his defense.
You know we're going to talk Bo Pelini, and to do that, I got C. Martin in the building. Chris Martin, college football analyst here with Stadium. C-Mar, how you doing?
I'm good, man. Ready to roll?
Yeah, I'm excited. Bo Pelini's back to LSU. Right?
Yeah, you know, he's back, but also, like, Bo Pelini is a guy that can coach. So
Yes.
if you want to figure out how he's wired, let's go into his composition. He's a guy that grew up in Youngstown, Ohio, so we know that's a breeding ground for football, but he also has had the influences. He's been in the NFL. He's coached at Iowa. He played at Ohio State. He wore the C on his chest at Ohio State.
That's big.
So this is a guy that sort of evokes that leadership qualities and has
Football's
the
in
skins
his
on the wall.
DNA.
It's in his DNA. It's in his blood. And I think when you play for him, you feel that, and that's why these guys get so amped up to play for Bo Pelini.
Yeah, I think that these LSU folks, obviously they love playing for Dave Aranda, who's now taking that Baylor gig. I think the key for him is him coming back, looking at what he's been able to do, and he's been able to consistently get to the quarterback, which I think is huge for him, right? They're tied for 10th right there, and getting to the quarterback. I think as he upgrades the players, he upgrades the game, and I think we're going to get into a lot of the kind of the scheme stuff, which I'm excited personally because this is a defense that I played in. So I'm really looking forward to talking about this. But it's from an LSU standpoint, I think we're going to see him marry what those guys can do with what he wants to do. And I expect to see a little bit more man, but that man also is going to allow them the ability to blitz to get to the quarterback.
Well, and I think what he understands, having played in the secondary, he knows the back end works with the front end.
Yes.
And so you're going to see this in a lot of this tape where you're going to see the back end working with the guys up front. He knows he has to have dogs up front to control it, but he's got to have players that can cover space on the back end.
Yeah, and this is big. I don't care about the result of the play. The big key for me is off the top, right? I want to say cover 2 shell.
Yep.
We're going to see them work out of this consistently. 2 high safeties. You see these guys sitting in that rock step, waiting to reroute the wide receivers, and then go make plays.
He knows that you got to get your hands on the receivers. You got to be disruptive. Here they just sort of hit the cavity with a quick screen.
Sure.
Your safeties get really high. But he also, watch the effort and the tenacity. The guy's flying to the football. This is a Bo Pelini coach team because this is what he wants. I mean, he wants to get hats around the ball. He wants to impose will. And again, they're very technically sound in their approach.
Here, Youngstown State, 2 high safeties again, and then watch the way they roll, right? Now we're rolling. We get the corner at the top, bailing to that deep third. You get the safety on the left side of the defense, rolling to the middle third, and you get the bottom corner playing that third as well. But it starts with 2, and then you rotate.
And what's interesting here is you'll see the curl defender knows that this was dialed up perfectly.
Yeah.
He just drifts outside. There he
wide.
is. He should have been. Watch him. He's pissed here. He knows that should have been a pick. That was well schemed up because all he has to do is stay underneath this curl route. He picks this ball off, but instead he gets out of phase. He drifts just a little bit too much. And as such, when you have a corner up top that's playing off and bailing, that creates the hole, that creates the passing lane. That's a completion. Should have been an interception.
Should have been an interception. I like that about him. Like the big key for me, I look at that nickel to the strength. Nickel to the strength, your nickel's going to always travel with your Sam. So they're going to go side to side depending on where your passing strength is because everybody doesn't use a tight end anymore.
Sure.
And then we're going to see that other safety. These guys, and this is, listen, this defense was the death of me because you got to do everything at safety, right? Me, I'm a guy, I want to come down in the box. That's all I want to do. I only want to play that zone to Y, zone to X, where I can come down and be that curl defender and have influence in the run game. But the reality is they play so much cover 2 and 2-man that you have to be able to get over the top. And so these safeties at LSU, they're going to be some dogs.
You got to be over the top. And then, as you said, when you play 2-man, you cannot give up the inside release to the outside wide receivers, because that's where you get killed. That's where you get beat. And I think Coach Pelini knows that. You talk about it. You got to be multifaceted with him. You got to have range.
Yes.
You can't just come down in the box and strike. You got to be able to cover in space. I like that he likes to get hands on receivers. I like that he likes his guys to mix up the coverage, be multiple. That's how you get the easy picks. That's how you take one back to the crib.
Yeah, and I love that. And then we're going to get into some of the other things that he's able to do. And I think that he is so – I think this is going to be really a big part of this defense at LSU, because not only are you going to have those swamp monsters up front, those big boys, but you're also going to have guys that play in that linebacker spot, that flow to the football, and gap fits are so critical in this four-man front.
This is one of my favorite plays, because you talk about your D-line working in lockstep. Watch these guys at the point of attack, the POA, how they engage the offensive line, pushes them down. But also look at your linebackers. Now they're running through clean air. There is no traffic to get caught up in. There are no offensive linemen that are getting to the second level to them. They're running through clean air. They're able to get to the ball and make a play. That's why you like to have those speedy linebackers that can get there. You see the instinct. This is a perfect example. There's no run creases.
Yep.
There's no cutback lanes, and it's just a convergence to the football.
Yeah, this is when you're going to hear people talk about that heavy 3 technique, right?
Yep.
A guy that's just going to eat that area to keep his linebackers clean so that they can come through and make these tackles.
For sure. And then look at how they rock them back. I mean, even the backside flow, there's no cutback angle allowed. You see the backside by Prince Amukamara there, and now there's no way for the running back absolutely to cut back. That's very well coached, very well schemed up.
Yeah, I love that. And again, that's why I put that clip in there. I was like, it doesn't look like a spectacular play, but this is the thing that Bo Pelini, as a coach, gets excited about, because it's all of his guys doing their job.
And you know what else the players get excited about? This guy's put a lot of defensive players in the league.
Yes.
And so that is instant credibility. That is instant buy-in to everything that he's coaching and the defense that he's teaching.
Yeah, I mean, when he was at Nebraska, and we talked about this pre-show, right? I didn't think he should have been gone from Nebraska.
Me too. I agree.
They weren't getting to the mountaintop, but they also were playing really good football. You see the numbers there. I mean, these guys were really finding ways to shut down offenses, and I think that the big key for them going to LSU is, again, I cannot state this enough, the player upgrade, right?
Yep.
It's a lot easier to recruit a kid to LSU, especially a fast kid that can hit, to get him in that program at LSU. They already got them there right now. So I think we're going to see LSU's defense continue to push. And this is something that I wanted to highlight too, the blitz package, right? Mm-hmm. And when you look at this is basically a zero dog, and you got to be able to cover, and your defensive line's got to get home.
Yeah, they're bringing it out. This is a jailbreak blitz. They're coming down fast, and so the quarterback's got to get the ball out of his hand quickly. So you're counting on your guys up front to get home. They did. You see that they get a big hit on Tyrod Taylor back there, I believe. But look at the flow. They dress this up nicely. They don't know what's coming at them. Some of the guys are delayed. They get there. Quarterback's got to get rid of the ball. It's an errant pass. Again, good design, good scheme, and good time to use it. And that's a well-coached defense.
Yeah, this is one hand washing the other. This is your defense, your front, all your rushers, right, including the safety. Mm-hmm. All those guys making sure that those corners and the other safety are protected, because they get Tyrod Taylor off the point, they get him down on the ground. Those are things that add up over the course of a football game for a quarterback.
And I think what's unique here is he has the athletes that can run this defense. Yes. I mean, and that's what you have to have. This is going to be completely facilitated on having guys that can play in space, that have speed, and that can close quickly, as we see here.
That little cat blitz, that weak side cowboy, I think this is one that's so valuable. He's running. They're not even on the hash. He's running while they're in the middle of the field, but he recognizes I can still have impact with this blitz because my guys are going to do their job.
Yeah, and Tyrod Taylor seeing ghosts right here, because literally he's looking around. Where do I go with the football? And next thing you know, you got somebody right up in your grill, and then he has to go down. So again, the mix-up, the window dressing, making the coverages look different. That's the key to this concept.
Derek Stingley coming on this corner blitz.
Love it.
You know what I mean? Like that's what I'm thinking about when I watch this. Is like,
he can get there.
Players, he can get there. He could stop that ball, because we saw Tyrod Taylor right there recognize he couldn't throw the immediate check, that immediate hot to his other guy, because he's in the throwing lane and the safety's already rolling over the top. So I think this is going to be really interesting to see how that works. And then, of course, you can't talk about Pelini without mentioning Nebraska. You can't talk about Nebraska without mentioning Ndamukong Suh. You can't talk about Suh without mentioning the Big 12 championship game where they should have won.
Game wrecker.
He's a game wrecker, and he's looking for another one of these guys at LSU.
Well, listen, hey, when I talked to Bo Pelini, when I interviewed him once, I asked him who are the best defenders ever to play at Nebraska. He said Ndamukong Suh, number one, Levante David, number two, both star defenders. And when you have a guy that has uncoachable skill, that can do things that Ndamukong Suh can do with his power, his strength, and his leverage, and we'll get a chance to take a look at it here. You're going to talk about a big man. Look at the lower body to take out. He's seeking out the double team. Most guys go away from the double team. He's seeking it out because he knows he has the power and the strength that he can run right through it, disengage, and be able to get to the quarterback.
I mean, you want to talk about helping your teammates out. Watch what Suh does on this play. And I noticed it. I didn't notice it the first time, but he takes out the check down, right? So now your linebacker has an easier time covering that running back, which means now Suh can go move on to get that quarterback because he doesn't have the check down to throw.
Yeah, absolutely. And watch how he rocks him back here. So look at the power. The butt down, the legs, the disengage, hands inside.
Boom.
Now he takes on the two, shocks him. Now disengage, get to the quarterback, and get Colt McCoy on the ground. Those are game-changing type plays. What does that do for your secondary? When you know you got a dog up front like that that's going to get home, that takes a lot of pressure off the back, and now you can be a lot more aggressive in your coverage and your alignment. This is going to be the key. This is what we're going to see at LSU. You're going to see pressure. That's going to make it easy for Derek Stingley and the boys on the back end to get picks, create turnovers, or get ball disruptions.
Yeah, I mean, look, just the guy draped on his legs because he's disengaging. I think that's something that we can talk about all schools' uncoachable skills, but look at the coaching as well. And the way that these guys, not just Suh, but the rest of these guys, look at the disengage from 95. Look at the way that he's able to keep that guy off him so that he can maintain that edge. I love the coaching. The coaching is going to continue. When you've got a defensive line coach as your head coach in Ed Orgeron, and then you bring in a guy like Pelini, they're going to continue to operate at a high level from a technical standpoint, but also from an athletic standpoint.
And they know that they're going to get 5 stars. They may not get the Ndamukong Suh because he's a generational type of guy, but they're going to get studs up front that have power and strength and that can do things like this. Push, get low surge, low pad level, and just rock this thing straight back and then be able to find the ball, sniff out. Just an unbelievable effort. But again, look at all the jerseys,
Everybody,
the hats to the ball. That's what you're going to see. You want to know the DNA? This is what you're going to see.
This is a small frame. This is a tight shot. But look at them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 guys. 8 out of 11 guys in that tight frame. That's not even the frame that you watch when you watch film. That's a tight shot, and we got 8 guys on camera. And they play 11 hats to the football.
And Michael, on top of this, Texas's offense was one of the best in the country, and they made them look bad. Look, on one of those clips we showed Bo Pelini screaming.
Sure.
Now that is what you're going to get. He's a screamer. He's a yeller. It comes from a good place. He's tough on his guys, but he's able to get the best out of him. I know this. This man can coach defense for sure. He know it's in his blood. It's through and through. If you listen to him, hitch your wagon to him, and you have a desire to play at the next level, he can help you to get there.
Yeah, I was listening to some interviews from former Nebraska players and former LSU players, and they mentioned that, yes, he screams, but he also coaches. And I think that's going to be really critical. Screams, but then he also brings guys to the side and talks to them about little things. There are guys that he won't scream at because he recognizes that that's not what works for them. So I'm really excited to see what Bo Pelini can bring to LSU.